Ozark Howler. The Ozarks are home to a large, mysterious creature that is said by some to resemble a dark, shaggy, grotesque panther. Descriptions: the Ozark Howler is usually described as being very dark or black, having stout legs, powerful shoulders, long claws, long canine teeth, and a muscular body. It is said to have a shorter tail and is sometimes described as having rings like a raccoon's tail, but fainter. Because of these characteristics, some people believe the Ozark Howler is a lynx, a very large bobcat, or a mountain lion, also known as a catamount, short for cat of the mountains. However, full-grown Ozark Howlers are said to be several times larger than typical mountain lions and are nearly always referred to as panthers. The Ozark Howler is known for making a variety of strange sounds, resembling the full repertoire of a typical panther. It is apparently migratory, but at certain times of the year, it will settle in an area and become territorial. It leaves territory marking signs such as claw raking on trees, prey remains, large cat-like teeth marks, and, rarely, tracks. The remains of its prey can be found high in trees, hidden under brambles, between rocks, or in caves. Because of its description, signs, and behavior resembling a panther, many believe that the Ozark Howler is simply a huge, unidentified panther, or perhaps a living, ancient relic American cat from the fossil records. But unlike a panther, its screams and howls can be heard from miles away. There are reports of it being able to walk bipedally over a short distance, and because it naturally carries its head low to the ground, there are some reports of it being headless. It is sometimes said to have bushy fur and a slight snout. Because of their very stealthy nature, stout form with large muscles, and their build roughly resembling a canine, it is believed by some that they are mistaken for the mythical Cu Sith. Many Ozark residents knew of the mauve dove or Monday dew and of Old Shuck or Black Shuck, the big, black phantom hounds of England. This may be the origin of some headless ghost dog sightings or hellhounds in the Missouri Ozarks. However, these ghost tales seem quite different from the Howler stories. It seems irrational to try to explain a mystery with fairy tale stories of ghosts and phantoms from across the ocean, but in the same areas where the Ozark Howlers are sighted, there are stories of large, black, shaggy, headless phantom dogs, some the size of bulls. Yet the Howler's behavior is more like a stalking large cat or panther. Names: because of its terrible screams and the fact that the Howler is rarely seen outside the Ozark forest regions, the creature was dubbed the Ozark Howler or the Ozark Black Howler. It is seldom called the Ozark Howler inside the Ozarks area. Other names include Wowzer, Wampus Cat, Whistling Wampus, Booger Dog, Booger Cat, Bearcat, Catamount, not referring to cougars or mountain lions. What is it? Phantom Cat or Panther, Indian Devil, Devil Cat, Santater, and Black Panther, sometimes, rarely, referring to legendary panthers. Similar legendary creatures might include Hide Behind, True Tiger/Real Lynx, Underwater Panther, Galley-Wampus/Galley Wampus. Interestingly enough, the Hoax sightings often describe a creature with horns or antlers that resembles the underwater panther of Native American Indian myths and legends. Most of these names refer to a mythical amphibious panther creature and do not generally apply to the Ozark Howler. It is also interesting to note that many historical accounts mention feral cats, wildcats, bobcats, lynxes, and mountain lions, catamounts, cougars, and pumas, as being separate from panthers. Many stories confuse howlers with regular panthers, melanistic mountain lions, or jaguars. For instance, one story includes a panther being killed and being put on display because no one had seen one before, yet they all knew what a mountain lion was. Laura Ingalls Wilder, author of the Little House on the Prairie books, specifically, Little House in the Big Woods, tells a story of her grandfather, riding a horse as fast as he could, being chased by a large, black panther, which leaped from treetop to treetop, almost overhead. Could a mountain lion do this? Area. The Ozarks Howler is rarely found outside the general Ozarks area, which includes the states of Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, and Oklahoma, and Texas. The Ozarks proper is mostly contained in the southern half of Missouri and northwest Arkansas. The howl. The howl, as you might expect, is the hallmark of the Ozark Howler. Its sound has been described as very deep and guttural as well as a high-pitched howl. Others have said that it's the most unearthly scream and half-human. One of the most common descriptions of the sound is like the screams of a woman. Those who have heard the screams pierce the night never forget the chill that ran up their spine and the feeling of dread that washed over them. Some claim that the sounds are made by animals commonly found in the region. They point to the screams and howls of animals like the red fox, fisher cat, and even fighting raccoons. Is it a Cu Sith? Scottish, Irish, Welsh, and English settlers homesteaded the Ozarks Plateau in the mid to late 1800s, and they brought with them their ancestral stories and mythologies. One such story was that of the Cu Sith, a mythological hound that is feared as a harbinger of death. The settlers believed the hound would come to bear away the soul of a person to the afterlife, much like the Grim Reaper. The hounds of death went by other names, such as Bean She, Irish, Cu She, Irish, and Cwn Anun, Welsh. According to Scottish folklore, the Cu Sith is said to be the size of a young bull with the appearance of a wolf. Its fur is shaggy and is usually cited as being dark green, though sometimes white. Its tail is described as being long and either coiled up or plaited, braided. Its paws are described as being the width of a man's hand. The Cu Sith is thought to make its home in the clefts of rocks in the highlands and also roam the moors and highlands. According to legend, the creature was capable of hunting silently but would occasionally let out 3 terrifying bays, and only 3. Those 3 could be heard for miles by those listening for it, even far out at sea. Those who hear the baying of the Cu Sith must reach safety by the 3rd bark or be overcome with terror to the point of death. It was also said the baying was a warning to lock up nursing women lest the beast abducts them and take them to a fairy mound, Scottish Gaelic, Scythian, pl. Scythianan, to supply milk for the children of the Fae, Dina Sith. In Wales, they were associated with migrating geese, presumably because their honking in the night is reminiscent of barking dogs. The hunting grounds for the Cwn Anun are said to include the mountain of Cadair Idris, where it is believed the howling of these huge dogs foretold death to anyone who heard them. According to Welsh folklore, their growling is loudest when they are at a distance, and as they draw nearer, it grows softer and softer. Their coming is generally seen as a death portent. Some people see a connection between the mythologies that came here with the settlers and the ancient stories of the Native Americans who inhabited the region. Natives told stories of saber-toothed tigers that used to roam the land, though they have been gone for thousands of years. Combining the stories of the tigers with the settlers' tales of otherworldly creatures that scream and carry off the souls of the dead may have resulted in the Ozark Howler, hoaxes and fraud. Some researchers based on one modern-day hoaxer deemed the Ozark Howler a fraud. But these same researchers believe that Bigfoot is real, even though Bigfoot/Sasquatch has had a great many hoaxers. Loren Coleman, a famous and respected cryptid researcher, said, specifically, "I've never seen a cryptid when I've gone looking for a cryptid, even though I've been on expeditions for 50 years. I've found many tracks, I've heard many screeches and unknown sounds, and I've interviewed hundreds of witnesses. In 1972, I saw a black panther in southern Illinois when I was in a car coming from work, unrelated to cryptozoology, and none of the people in the car would turn the car around. So I was put in the situation of being an eyewitness where I could not go and further investigate the Black Panther report. The Ozarks region does extend into southern Illinois. So, is it possible the only cryptid Loren Coleman ever saw might have been the Ozark Howler?